All right, we are back at Stonebrook. It's been a couple weeks, and as you can see, lots more progress. I'm a little dressed up today. It's my anniversary, I'm feeling good, and I'm not trying to get dirty, so I'm gonna try to tiptoe my way around this. Just don't tell MOL. There's lots to talk about on this one right now. You can see there's just a ton of concrete work that has gone on, and they're still going, right? We have the second floor to do next, and then the third story, which is essentially going to be the top. That will be the roof, and then we can start framing all that stuff up. So this is a little bit of a different build. Let's go take a look at what else is separating this thing from everything else out there. So we are standing on the back patio right now. This is going to be 3 giant doors across here. This is the kitchen area down here. So you're gonna come out onto this huge concrete patio, and then you have this cool step down, walk out from the basement down there. There's gonna be a little lounge area down there, and then another step up to the grade of the pool deck over there. So you can see what it looks like, and big, spacious, airy, and looking awesome. There's some 8-foot doors going in down there, huge windows, lots of light coming into the basement. Gonna be wicked. Let's go check out over here. So this is actually the cutout for the staircase, and this is all gonna be the kitchen. We have a double island set up going in here, but they had to brace across here to be able to support all their forming across. So they are fully geared up. I think early next week, we're gonna have to do our layout of where everything has to go, where we want all the holes, because it's a hell of a lot easier to just have holes already set in the concrete rather than have to drill them all out afterwards. Being really prepared and doing thorough walkthroughs before the slab gets poured is super important. That's what we did on this level, and I think we got everything. I guess we'll find out as we move through the build, but you try to make sure that you're creating provisions for your electrical, HVAC, and your plumbing, just so that you have a really seamless transition all the way through. If you come over here, you can see a piece of core line or a conduit coming up through the slab. So because of the concrete and getting through things is a little more difficult, we're actually going to put another sub panel, an electrical sub panel in the garage, and there's going to be another one going in up top in the second story, so that it's just lots of access to electricity, and it's hopefully going to help us be able to run wires more efficiently and not run into many problems. Over here, this is the sunroom, and the sunroom is going to be finished in concrete. So this is built up an inch so that our hardwood floor can butt right into the side of this finished edge. And so we mapped out exactly where the wall is going to be, exactly where the door is going to go, and this transition is going to happen right underneath the bridge of the door. So we'll see how it lines up down the road, but at least we tried to hit that mark. We'll see how it plays out. So this is going to be a great tall sunroom here. You can see how high up the columns go here. So this is all glass pretty much. This whole area looking out at the backyard. We have 3 opening skylights that are going into this room. So big vaulted ceiling and going to be really nice. See, we can step down into our garage here. Obviously, that's going to be a solid wall. There won't be access here, but you can see we have the snow melt, the heated slab in the garage, and then there's also provisions there for the eventual snow melt out front. So the driveway can be heated and all of that. So that's all set up, ready to go in the garage here. So the process that's gone on here is all of this forming and scaffolding came up from the basement. So all this slab is all set. They've taken it all down, and they'll have additional jacks down there to support the slab right now. But this is going to set up and hold that second story and all the forming that they're in the process of building right now. But I want to go see the basement. Let's go check this out. Smells like construction down here, that's for sure. So this is actually going to be windows here. The doorway is over here. The idea is to have TV down there. Wow. Super clean down here. This is really cool. You can see all the collars that we've put up in the slab. There's an air return provision there. All these things that we had to have the foresight for to make sure that there's an easy progression further down the line. You can see the remnants of them all poking their heads everywhere. You really get a good feel for the space now, right? They just have some extra supports underneath some of the major structural portions. Looks like they've got about an 8 to 10 foot spread on these jack posts. Doing everything in concrete adds a little bit of extra complexity, even as you're moving through the process. Something that seems simple, like there's going to be some steps going down from this level down to the golf simulator down there. And I'm just thinking here, how are we going to finish that edge, right? We have, typically you have a bull nose that wraps all the way around that edge, and then the floor caps into that, and then the bull nose acts as a finishing edge for the drywall underneath to run into. In this case, how are we going to finish all of those particular pieces? We're going to have to make some customizations to the staircase itself. Like the stringers are going to have to die directly into the concrete, I would imagine, and we're probably not going to do we probably won't do drywall around that. That would probably have to be exposed concrete, or maybe we'll have to put plastered finish like the San Marco around that edge to clean it up. But there's going to be a bunch of little things that you wouldn't have to normally do on a project to make this work and clean it up aesthetically. But there are a lot of benefits to having a home constructed out of concrete. A typical home will shrink about 3 inches from the peak of its roof after the first year or two after it's being constructed if it's made out of wood. In this case, none of the wood is going to have that much of an opportunity to contract. Every wall system is separated. Nothing is sitting on top of another piece of wood. And typically you have steel supporting some areas, wood supporting other areas, and then they all shrink at different rates. In this case, everything's kind of segmented. It's all broken up, separated by the concrete itself. So this is going to remain very stable. And all the wood, those individual panels, those wall sections, they can shrink, but nothing else is going to. So our roof is going to shrink a little bit, but not that much, right? So you'll have less drywall pops and all that stuff, screw pops, and it's just going to be far more stable. We're also going to provide another layer below the hardwood floor upstairs. We're doing this like a condo, right? We're putting rhino lining underneath it, which is really going to take the sound transfer from the upper floor down to the floor below, take much of that out of it. I think it's like a 72 decibel reduction, which is huge. But yeah, these little things that come into play that make a custom home built out of concrete a little more challenging, but there's a lot of give and take. But it's refreshing going through a project and actually seeing some of the benefits, right? So far, there aren't very many drawbacks other than it's really slow putting the structure up. But I think the long-term benefits of this are just going to far outweigh the pain that we're going through right now just on scheduling. So there's going to be a stairway coming down here. Little change room supposed to be there. And then we have this nice square room here that I think would make a perfect home theater. It's supposed to be the gym, but imagine blocking that off or doing a giant screen projector across there. It's different when you're standing in the house. It just feels different, and you can start to imagine how you're going to actually be able to utilize the space. Obviously for the clients, you know, we see so many different projects that as we're going through it, we get excited when you're presented with an opportunity, and it's our job to be able to steer the client and allow them the opportunity to make these changes, make these customizations to the build as we're going along it. I know a lot of builders will try to stay away from change orders and all of that, but at the same time, if you're building your dream home, you're doing this once, we want to provide those opportunities for our clients, and that is really what makes the process and the experience special, is being able to truly customize it even as you're going through the project. You think you got your set of plans, doesn't mean it has to stay that way, right? For the most part, the structure, all that stuff, you have to keep it. But repurposing a room or reimagining how you could set the whole project up, you only get one chance to make these changes, and that's as you're going through the build. So that's the final hour. Ultimately, you want the house to be special at the end of it. So this is one hell of a pool equipment room. See the nice cutout? This is for the hot tub. So there will be a platform that the hot tub gets recessed into and sits on. and then they can landscape right up around it. This room's gonna be so tight. All right, so lots of exciting progress, and it's gonna get even better over the next week or so when that second floor is completed and we're able to get in here and start filming from up top there. So just wanted to do a quick recap of what we've been seeing happen over here and hit you with a little bit of the process along the way. So thanks for watching PEWTER.build across the board. Catch you on the next one.